storyteller? This man, I asked him to be first tonight to set the tone because I think he is a fantastic storyteller. He has won the Moth Story Slam 7 times. So please welcome Bill Ratner.
My 6-month marriage to my green card wife, Claudine, was over. On Christmas morning at breakfast in my double wide at Tapa Topanga Mobile Home Park, she asked me for a divorce. I mean, I wasn't devastated. We were boyfriend and girlfriend, and I'd married her so she could work, and she was a facialist, and she was good at it, and we made the terrible mistake of moving in together. And the truth was, I'd really fallen out of love with her facials anyway. The Swiss have a habit of kind of slapping you around after they put the cream on. That afternoon, she flew to London to spend the holidays with her ex-boyfriend Farid, who it turns out had been sending $100 bills stuffed inside the pages of Harlequin romance novels. A pretty expensive ploy to win her back, which worked. Christmas Eve, I did the 6 p.m. to midnight shift at a Beverly Hills radio station, KJOI, which specialized in what we call beautiful music, which is the kind of thing you hear in the podiatrist's office. It was on Grizzly Peak Drive, way over Coldwater. And I get to work, and I ring the security bell, and I take the long drive up, and I park in front of the big old bungalow that is the sales department and the engineering office and the broadcast studio. Christmas Eve in LA. I'm above the smog line, alone. And I think about Claudine, and I'm not going to miss the hourly phone calls on the music request line. I hate Los Angeles. I'm afraid of the earthquake, and I really hate your double wide. So I string up some Christmas instrumentals, and I go outside, and I stand underneath the antenna tower, and I look at the distant purplish gray Pacific, and I'm either going to do a salutation to the sun or smoke a Marlboro Light. I haven't decided which. So I put my arms up over my head, and I let my spine ease down, and my head hanging between my legs, and do some deep yogic breathing, and the music request line goes off. So I walk back in and I answer it. Hey, Joy, can I help you? Hi. Hi, who's this? I know who it is. It's Edith, who's a K-Joy regular, who's probably alone on Christmas Eve. Well, so am I. So a song is ending, and I turn the microphone on and pick up an index card. Joy is a Christmas Eve with friends and family and beautiful music. And Joy is FM 99, K-Joy. And I start up some more instrumentals. Was that you on the radio just now? Yeah, that was me. Wow, Merry Christmas. So what can I do for you, Edith? I think you know. Song is ending, so I did another little PSA and come back on the phone. So how you doing tonight, Edith? Kind of loaded and feeling a little horny. You sound a little sloshed, Edith. You okay? Oh yeah, I'd be a lot better if you'd come pay me a little visit. And the truth is, I actually did think of my job at K-Joy as a service provider. It was an opportunity to make people happy. I said, Edith, I'll make you a deal. You stop drinking right now, and I'll come over after my shift. Are you kidding? And then I hear the sound through the phone of Edith hoisting herself to her feet. This is amazing. It's like call up and order a man. This is going to be a drive-by fucking. Not one more drink until I get there, okay? And then there's silence. And I figured she'd hung up. And then I hear the sound of a toilet flushing. I am pouring a fifth of vodka down the shitter, okay? At 12:30 a.m., I arrive at Edith's apartment in Panorama City. She answers the door in a very thin negligee. Edith is a large, barefoot, middle-aged woman with dyed red hair and a pinkish brown face. Her arms are freckled and thick, huge, actually. I find her eminently attractive. She curtsies, ushers me in, and to my surprise, she is sober as I requested. She takes my hand and places it upon her ample bosom, her nipple growing like little expanding terry cloth bathtub animals. She goes into her bedroom, takes off her nightgown, and waves me to her. Edith required lubrication, but the only thing I could find in her bathroom was a jar of Vaseline, the old-fashioned kind, gooey, sort of the lube equivalent of molasses. I rub it between my hands, slather it upon us, and Edith and I spend the first hours of that Christmas morning conjoined like a pair of barnyard donkeys. Making love with Edith was like having a big Christmas dinner. Maybe a little too soon after lunch, but nonetheless satisfying. A couple of days later, I have crabs. I'm not mad at Edith. It was a fabulous Christmas Eve. I go to the CVS, I buy a bottle of Quell. But between Christmas and New Year's, I didn't hear from Edith at all. But an hour into my New Year's Eve shift at K-Joy, the phone rings. It's Edith, sober. I am delighted to hear from her. We talk about the weather and the music, but it's New Year's Eve, and so I invited her up to the station. Once again, I find myself reaching out through the K-Joy music request line to touch my listener. She's shocked. I figured I was going to spend New Year's Eve alone anyway. And an hour later, the security bell goes off. It's Edith in a red Honda Civic and a low-cut Hawaiian muumuu. Edith, welcome to K-Joy. Holiday hugs. We have 4 hours until the next announcer is going to arrive for the midnight shift. So without preliminaries, we strip and make love on the sales manager's desk. And on the chief engineer's desk right next to the FM transmitter. It is amazing how much heat 50,000 watts of radio power can generate. That and the bottle of Quell are certainly going to kill the crabs. It is now the top of the hour, and my responsibility is to do the station legal ID on the air. So I take Edith into the console room, put her hands on either side of the console with its blinking LEDs and its knobs and its switches, palms down. I gently bend her over. And to the sound of the Percy Faith Orchestra rendition of We Three Kings, I enter Edith's warm, welcoming, middle-aged body. I pull the microphone toward me, and I turn it on, and we are on the air. Good evening. Welcome to K-Joy. KJOI, Los Angeles. From our family to yours, we wish you a very happy New Year. And I start another tape of music, and we continue to make love to the sound of Lawrence Welk's Sleigh Ride. Giddy up, giddy up, giddy up, it's grand, just holding your hand. And before I can turn the microphone off, Edith lets out a loud, braying sigh over the air. Ah! And the beautiful music played on.